We'll start our discussion with Unit 1, that is mandatory guidance. Broadly, we'll see what are the applicable standards in internal audit controls, what are the code of ethics for professional conducts, internal audit ethics in terms of principle, integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, competency, and in the last we will see what is an internal audit charter. First of all, for solving our questions and to understand the subject itself, we should be very clear about the definition of internal auditing. Internal auditing is an independent, objective assurance and consulting activity. So one by one I will explain you. Independent means that you are not reporting to management, you are reporting to audit committee, and you are purely independent from the operations. When he says objective assurance, there are two words. One is called subjective, one is called objective. Subjective means if I say tomorrow it will be a rain and you ask me how you feel, I will say it's my heart feeling. So this is subjective. In auditing, in our education, we work on not feelings, we work on facts and figures. That is objectivity, means once we take decisions, they are based on the rational logics and reasoning. We can justify our act through evidences that this is what we conclude. That is objective assurance. Assurance is for satisfaction. You as internal auditor are satisfied for the board of directors because they feel that you are protecting the interest of the stakeholders. That's why it is called objective assurance. And consulting activity designed to add value. Sometimes we give consultancy to our own company and our own clients. This has to be allowed in the charter. If it is allowed, then management can ask us to involve ourselves into some special investigating reports or some special important matters, because as an internal auditor you know the organization better than anyone who will come from outside and first will understand the entity and then start the work. So management a lot of time will ask you to involve themselves, which is not your work. That will be taken as a consultancy advisory. Of course, you are adding value and improve organization process. So when we see the inventory process, when we see the purchases, payables, receivables, cash management, these all, when we do the gap analysis, when we put them on flow diagrams, we see is there any discrepancies, if there is any loopholes. So this automatically add values. We'll learn all these techniques, how to add value. It helps an organization accomplish its objective by bringing a systematic and disciplined approach. So it's not arts, it's a science which has systematic approaches, plans, execution, implementation, post-evaluations. By bringing a systematic, disciplined approach to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of three things. One is risk, one is control, and one is governance. So we are actually going to focus in part 1 on the risk, controls, and governance. These are further discussion in detail that we will do. So this is the scope of internal auditing. Then we have purpose of the standards. We will study a lot of standards that we have to follow. Same in accounting, we have accounting standards, how to do inventory, balance sheet, income statement presentations, IFRS, US gaps. This all same way in auditing, we have auditing standards. These standards, why we make these standards is, we want, first of all, we want a global harmony and a global standardization. So every country, every person should follow the same and similar stuff. So it defines basic principles that present the practice of internal auditing. It's a framework for performing and promoting a broad range of value-added internal auditing, establish the basis for evaluations, and it fosters the improved organizational processes. So this is what is the basic purpose of the standard. How the exams look like is he will ask you which of the following is not the purpose of making auditing standards. So that time you have to keep your bookish knowledge in your mind, and whatever you will feel is not defined, that will be the right answer. We have three types of standards. One is attribute, one is implementation, right, and one is performance standards. Attribute is related to the quality of the auditor itself. Like these are my attributes or your attributes. Means I am fair, I am honest, I maintain the confidentiality of my clients. I try to be fair always. I am objective, I am rational, right? I am cost efficient. These are all my attributes. So attribute standards starting from 1000 given the responsibility, attitudes and action of the organization, internal audit activity, and the people who serve as internal auditors. Performance standards are those that when you come in the practical action place on the client side or on the site itself, what you have to follow as a standard. That starts from 2000, given the nature of internal auditing, and provide quality criteria for evaluating the internal audit functions performance. So that's more about your practical side of execution. And as strong your attributes are and as strong your performance standards, your implementation will be more effective. So these two standards will determine your implementation. Expand upon the individual attribute or performance standards that apply to all internal audit engagements. This is a framework which defines the whole chapter. This is called IPPF framework, that is International Professional Practices Framework. Means wherever you are, the first thing about internal controls, internal audit, you should have this framework. This framework will tell you what minimum or as a standard you should have in your internal audit. First of all, you should define internal auditing for yourself, because internal auditing is a broad definition. You have to see what is relevant to you, specific to industry. Code of ethics. This is that what we are expecting from our people, that is expected and acceptable behaviors from the manpower, that will be defined in a code of ethics. For example, you cannot smoke in the workplace, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. So we define what we want people not to do, and what is acceptable behavior. As I told you, we have standards, so attribute and performance will depend your implementations, and these are called mandatory guidances. Means this is you have to do, you have no choice, you have to follow these standards, you have to make a code of ethics, you have to define your internal auditing. Once you finish this level, you have some recommended guidances. Means that is not mandatory, but you should strongly take this one. For example, sometime our doctor says that you should have a walk every day. I will suggest you to do it, don't miss it every day, So some kind of advices which can take you more on track and you can deliver a better option. So there are three levels. One is position paper, one is practice advisories, and one is practice guides. Okay, what is this? This is detailed, this is little less detailed, and this is a summary of the guidelines. So it started this way. We go in position papers. For example, you are stuck with a risk assessment, you need further guidance. So first book you will refer is position paper. Position paper will tell you, okay, paragraph